A ball is dropped vertically from a height d above the ground. A ball is dropped. Dropped means its initial velocity is 0, but it is dropped downwards from a height d. Okay. It hits the ground. It hits the ground. Okay, and bounces up vertically to a height d by 2. Okay. So the ball falls and then it rises up to a height d by 2. Neglecting subsequent motion and air resistance, its velocity v varies with height h above the ground as. Okay. So we would now like to plot velocity against height. Okay, so in this problem we are already given the convention. Do you realize that? Height is always positive. Okay, so this is going to be our positive direction. Do you agree? See, because on the y-axis, it's a vector quantity, it's velocity. So can be positive or should be considered as positive or negative. Okay? Okay. Fine. So you can see that there are two curves here in every picture, clearly representing the two different motions. Okay? Fine. Let's first recognize the points d and d by 2 here. This is d by 2 and this is d. This is d by 2, this is d. This is d by 2, this is d. This is d by 2 and this is d. Okay. Now clearly C is not going to be right because they can't be linear. We know that V is linear with T and not linear with H. Okay, so we can rule out this. Okay. Now, initially the velocity will be 0. Okay, initially the velocity will be 0. Okay, so when h is equal to d, okay, when h is equal to d, velocity is equal to 0. When h is equal to d, velocity is 0. Okay, now look at b. Okay, look at b. Is this arrow indicating the correct trajectory of the ball in terms of velocity and time height variation? Is that right? That's not right. Okay, do you realize that? Because initially when it is dropped, okay, well, first of all, velocity has to be negative. Okay, velocity has to be negative, and secondly, it decreases with height. Okay, so it has to be something like this. It's not basically that because, okay, why are we rejecting option B? We are rejecting option B because velocity is negative for first phase. Okay, so it is either option A or option D now. Okay, which one of them do you think is the right one? A is A right? Let's just argue about A. Okay, so as the particle travels towards ground, its height decreases. So that's right, its velocity is negative, but it increases. Correct. So at least it describes this part correctly. And because D doesn't describe it correctly, right, it says height increases and then the ball reaches D. That's not right. Okay, so it's option A. It's option A. Okay, is that clear? Yeah. H equal to D, V equal to 0. And then when H becomes 0, D is large but negative. So the curve has to be something like this. It's going to be parabolic curve, right? It's going to be parabolic. Okay, and then why will it switch again? Because the velocity is now going to be in the upward direction. So positive but decreasing. Positive but decreasing. So it's this. Okay, but positive decreasing.